Hello, young scientists. Welcome to an exciting journey into the structure of an atom. Today, we are diving deep into a pivotal moment in chemistry, the discovery of the proton through Goldstein's canal rays in 1886. We'll start with the basics, then gradually explore the fascinating details, from easy concepts to advanced competitive insights. Get ready to unravel the secrets of the atom. Ready to discover how scientists found the atom's positive side? Let's explore the simple yet brilliant experiment that revealed the proton's existence. Imagine a scientist named E. Goldstein in 1886. He was experimenting with a special glass tube and noticed something amazing. Besides the known cathode rays, he found new rays traveling in the opposite direction. He called them canal rays because they seemed to pass through tiny holes, like canals, in a metal plate. This was the first hint that atoms had more than just negative parts. So, what did these canal rays tell us? First, unlike cathode rays, they carried a positive charge. They also traveled in straight lines, but here's the kicker: their properties changed depending on the gas inside the tube. This meant they weren't all the same fundamental particle. Eventually, the simplest of these positive rays, from hydrogen gas, was identified as the fundamental positive particle we now call the proton. A huge step in understanding atoms. Alright, time to test your understanding of canal rays. Pause the video and try to answer these questions. 1. Who discovered canal rays and when? 2. What was unique about the cathode in Goldstein's setup? And 3. Can you list two important properties of these canal rays? Good luck! Now, let's step up our understanding. We'll delve deeper into Goldstein's ingenious experiment and uncover more about these mysterious positive rays. Eugen Goldstein, a German physicist, was truly a pioneer. His work in 1886 was groundbreaking, setting the stage for understanding the atom's positive components. He was studying how electricity behaves in gases at very low pressures, and it was during these experiments that he stumbled upon Kanalstrahlen, or canal rays, a discovery that would forever change our view of the atom. Goldstein's experimental setup was a stroke of genius. He used a discharge tube, similar to those used for cathode rays, but with a crucial modification. The cathode, the negative electrode, was perforated with small holes. He filled the tube with a gas at extremely low pressure and applied a high voltage. What he observed was a luminous glow behind the perforated cathode, signifying the presence of these new, invisible rays passing through the holes. These canal rays weren't just any rays. When the high voltage was applied, electrons, or cathode rays, shot from the cathode. These electrons collided with the gas atoms, knocking out some of their own electrons and leaving behind positively charged gas ions. These positive ions were then attracted to the negative cathode, and some, with enough momentum, shot straight through its perforations, forming the canal rays. This explained why their properties depended on the gas. They were simply the positive ions of that specific gas. Let's challenge ourselves with some medium-level questions. Take your time to think about them. First, what was the main modification Goldstein made to his discharge tube? Second, how exactly are canal rays formed? Third, why did their properties vary with the gas used? Fourth, what's the fundamental difference between canal rays and electrons? And finally, how did this discovery contribute to our knowledge of the atom? Pause and ponder. Ready for a deeper dive? Let's analyze the intricate details of Goldstein's experiment and compare canal rays with their electron counterparts. The discharge tube experiment for canal rays was quite sophisticated for its time. A high voltage, typically 10,000 to 30,000 volts, was applied across electrodes in a glass tube maintained at a very low pressure by a vacuum pump. This extreme environment was crucial. The electrons, or cathode rays, accelerated by the voltage, would collide with the sparse gas atoms. These collisions were violent enough to strip electrons from the atoms, creating positively charged ions. These positive ions, in turn, were attracted to the negatively charged, perforated cathode, with some passing through its canals to become the visible canal rays. Let's compare canal rays and cathode rays. Cathode rays are negatively charged electrons originating from the cathode material and have a fixed mass and charge-to-mass ratio. Canal rays, on the other hand, are positively charged ions of the gas in the tube. Their mass and charge-to-mass ratio vary depending on the gas, as they are not fundamental particles themselves, but rather the ionized atoms of the gas. Both are deflected by electric and magnetic fields, but in opposite directions due to their opposite charges. A key insight came from studying the charge-to-mass ratio, or EM, for cathode rays. This ratio was constant, confirming the electron as a fundamental particle. However, for canal rays, the EM ratio varied significantly with the gas used. This variation was the crucial evidence that canal rays were indeed different positive ions. The highest EM ratio was observed with hydrogen gas, as its ion, H+, is the lightest. This lightest positive particle was later identified and named the proton by Ernest Rutherford, confirming the atom's positive core. Now, for some hard-level questions to solidify your understanding. First, explain the roles of high voltage and low pressure in canal ray formation. Second, describe how gas atoms become positive ions. Third, create a comparison table for cathode and canal rays based on three properties. Fourth, why is the EM ratio for canal rays not constant? Fifth, which gas yielded the canal rays identified as protons? Sixth, how did Goldstein's work influence atomic models before Rutherford? And seventh, if oxygen gas was used, what ions would form the canal rays? Pause and give them a go. Welcome to the hardest level. Here, we'll explore the deeper scientific and engineering principles behind Goldstein's discovery, its historical impact, and its connection to advanced concepts. Goldstein's discovery of canal rays in 1886 was a monumental step, even though its full implications were understood later. At a time when Dalton's atom was considered indivisible, and before Thomson definitively identified the electron, Goldstein provided the first experimental evidence of positive constituents within the atom. This paved the way for models that acknowledged both positive and negative charges, creating a crucial scientific context for future atomic theories and the eventual identification of the proton as the atom's positive core. Let's dissect the detailed mechanism. The high voltage accelerates initial electrons, which then collide with gas atoms, causing electron impact ionization. This creates positive ions and more electrons. The positive ions, under the influence of the electric field, accelerate towards the cathode. Their momentum, combined with the strong attraction, drives them through the cathode's perforations, forming canal rays. The engineering marvels of the time, like advanced vacuum pumps and high-voltage generators, were critical for creating and sustaining the precise conditions required for this delicate experiment. The varying deflection of canal rays by electric and magnetic fields, dependent on their charge-to-mass ratio, was a groundbreaking observation. This principle became the bedrock for the development of mass spectrometry by J.J. Thomson and F.W. Aston. Mass spectrographs, which analyze particles based on their EM ratio, revolutionized chemistry by enabling the discovery of isotopes and precise molecular analysis. Thus, Goldstein's simple observation laid the conceptual framework for a technique fundamental to modern science, from identifying elements to dating ancient artifacts. It's vital to distinguish. While Goldstein discovered canal rays, a general term for positive ion streams, Ernest Rutherford later, in 1919, named the fundamental positive particle proton. Rutherford's work, through alpha particle scattering and nuclear transmutations, established the proton as the nucleus of the hydrogen atom and a fundamental building block of all atomic nuclei. Goldstein provided the initial empirical evidence for positive atomic components, but Rutherford provided the definitive characterization and name for the proton, leading directly to the modern nuclear model of the atom and all subsequent advancements in nuclear physics. Time for the first set of hardest questions. 1. Discuss the historical context of Goldstein's discovery in relation to Dalton's theory and Thomson's electron. 2. Elaborate on the physical processes of canal ray formation, including ionization and acceleration. 3. How did the varying EM ratio of canal rays contribute to mass spectrometry? 4. Explain the crucial distinction between canal rays and protons. And 5. What technological advancements were vital for Goldstein's experiment? Pause and challenge yourself. Here are the remaining hardest questions. 6. Describe Rutherford's specific contribution to identifying and naming the proton. 7. If a tube contained hydrogen and helium, how would canal ray analysis differ? 8. What broader impact did canal ray study have on atomic models? 9. Imagine designing an EM ratio experiment for an ion. What components are needed? And 10. Where are Goldstein's principles still used today? Push your limits and analyze these deeply. And that concludes our deep dive into the fascinating discovery of the proton through Goldstein's canal rays. We've journeyed from basic concepts to advanced insights. To continue exploring more such intriguing topics and master your curriculum, visit synapse.omaps.in. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more exciting educational content. Keep learning, keep growing.